Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the foremost Kamen Rider Decade apologist. Do not panic. This is just a random review.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel and welcome back to the review stage. So if you're watching this, it means, well, I've probably had an off day where I can't get much done, so you're watching one of those backup videos that I record just in case. And today's just in case is going to be a look at the Dark Guard Optimus Prime. This is the Transformers Prime First Edition mold, which I recently did a video all about mini masterpiece items, and I do consider this toy a mini masterpiece. It's some of the best engineering Transformers ever did. More importantly, this is a pretty rare toy. So, do you remember the Cybertron satellite campaign, where they had like a whole bunch of different cities around Japan participate, and all of them got their own unique Prime as their kind of mascot, protectors, etc.? Well, this was available at the 14 stores that participated in said campaign. So it is exclusive to Japan, exclusive to only 14 shops, and outside of a weird little lucky draw run, this has never been reissued. Meaning this is the closest I'm ever going to get to owning a lucky draw. Still, exceedingly rare version of the toy that I thought I would share with you today. I guess shout out to my buddy Army of Bees, who you'll see on my Fortnite or Friday night streams from time to time. Yeah, he's the one who spotted this at Frankenson with me. So shout out to him for talking me into buying it in the first place, because I absolutely do not regret it. Let me get the weapons off the back so we can get a clean look at the vehicle mode, which is a lovely jet black and dark brown representation of the original. I do like when they don't just do like straight black all across the toy. Like, I like when like the secondary color for Prime is replaced with something that is very dark, but also just kind of slightly tinted, rather than just going with like a muted black all over the entire toy. I think the dark brown and the gold work together really well, and obviously, yeah, the highlight here are the gold accents. So you can tell this is not a Nemesis. He has an Autobot sigil at the front. He has translucent blue windows, which are not part of the engineering, thank God. And black toys get dusty even if you dust them before the video. I don't know why. But yeah, the gold looks lovely. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of deco to talk about because, you know, it is just straight black. Now, this is a classic style Voyager class toy, so all the wheels are pinned, so it means all of them spin freely, spin very, very well. You have the kick guard here, done in like a diamond plate sculpt and painted silver. Nice to see. In the back, we have the guts of the legs making up the backside of his vehicle mode, which does leave them with a little bit of a gap issue. It looks a little hollowed, but you and I have both seen far worse from this side of Optimus Prime, so I'm going to give it to them here. Similarly, the legs are just kind of closed together to make up the rear of the vehicle. That does mean some of his robot bits are exposed, like the armor around his knees, and he does leave some gaps here and there. That's probably the only real downside to this mold, is that, yeah, on the backside here, they just didn't have enough panels to cover up all of this. And that does come across a little bit unfortunate. But hey, the trailer hitch is here for the trailer that this toy never got, but just in case someone actually comes up with one, or one happens to be compatible. But no, beyond that, it's a very, very nice vehicle mode. It is marred only by a handful of small things like the gaps in the back, you know, maybe an exposed hinge if that bugs you. The weirdest part is going to be in the smokestacks, because this is the softest temper of plastic I have ever seen on a Transformer toy. Oh yeah, there's no way this is going to break upon dropping, but do not just pack a toy like this away in a storage bin or in a bag or something, because you will come back and these will be warped. You will need hot water or a hairdryer to get you out of said situation. We'll talk more about why plastic this soft is a bad thing, despite the safety it provides, once we get into the accessories. But for now, we need to get him into robot mode. So here is where the fun of the toy begins. So I'm going to go ahead and start by unclipping these from the back and double hinging them all the way back like this. Make sure you unclip that before you start messing with the legs too much, especially you will not be able to split them without that. Go ahead and fold that trailer hitch down and then bring the legs down. Feel around for where the friction tabs are in order to get them into a firm position. There we go. That's pretty much the legs done. We just kind of lower them and wait for the rest of the body at this point. Or, you know, parade him around like this, if that's what you're into. Once we've gotten to this stage, I'm going to go ahead and get the front end split, which is the grill and the front wheels, like so. That's going to open up these parts to hinge forward. I'm going to go ahead and raise those up so we can start getting a few other things out of the way. Now, if we want to, we can just go ahead and getting them ready for where they are going to rest. But really, I want access down here, so I can unclip the front section, fold all of this out, and this is where we're going to start forming up the arms. Go ahead and hinge those out of the way here, and that's going to help form the torso. So from here, we can also double hinge these out of the way, and then rotate the waist all the way around to get that into its final position. Go ahead and raise Prime's head as well, because we will need to fold these all the way to the back to make the back of the toy. These need to fold down so we can bring this all the way over. Feel that clip in and that. There we go. Just like that. Everything comes together to form up on the back. Then around the front, we can do the same again. So go ahead and split this open, unhinge these to 90 degrees, fold all of this out, make sure the double hinge is cooperating. The goal here is to get this peg into the actual hub of the wheel. So just kind of fiddle around till you get that clearance. There we go. Do it again here. Rotate the arms all the way down so they rest where arms usually rest. And that leaves the forearms, which is pretty simple. Let me go ahead and unfold this. Get them opened up like so. Fold the wrists down, and that's going to give you the room to double hinge them around. That'll form solid forearms, and then just rotate the elbows to the front. And that is the transformation to the robot mode. And this is an exceptionally fun transformation. Now, you saw how many things unfolded, refolded, and then folded around other spots in order to get tucked away and hidden in the robot mode. And that's a pretty fantastic piece of engineering. You can see all the stuff that was in the front is now in the back, and they all worked separate hinges in order to do it. So it's kind of fun watching it all collapse together like that. Actually kind of bring themselves around. Yeah, and then look at this. Look at this. Look how clean this is. Like, yes, you can see what seems to be, robot mode parts on the back side of the truck. Outside of the back of the robot mode, you can see the truck parts. But I don't know. This just kind of seems like a nice looking chest, like a nice looking back. Man, my words are not with me today. This is a great day to do a review. But yeah, you can tell. Yeah, they did a pretty good job, like all the way around, and it's a very solid looking figure. This is before the age of everything having to be hollowed out, so everything's still nice and solid on the toy. Remember, first edition was what they were supposed to do for Transformers Prime, and then budgets dropped, so they kind of worked with what they had. But we do have this left over to see what the line could have been. The colors are beautiful. Obviously, black, gold, silver, that's going to be really hard to mess up. But then you're bringing in this dark brown, which is really bright on my screen. I might have to color correct this quite a bit. But you do get this beautiful color scheme. And this is where I really like the fact that this is dark brown, so things like the elbows and the hands stand out. It keeps the black from overwhelming. Gives it a nice little bit of broken up look. Definitely looks a lot nicer this way. So, Taking this in close, you can see the familiar design of Optimus Prime. I like that the crest and the head vents that are on the sides of the helmet are all painted gold. Very, very nice touch. And I love the circuitry in the translucent chests. I also love the fact that the translucent chests are in no way part of the engineering of the toy. So I can just enjoy these little inserts that give it this three-dimensional look and, just admire the detail, right? Little bits of gold dotting that were left over from the vehicle mode as well. Well, no, I guess it's just imitating the vehicle mode. This toy is tricking me, and I've played with this multiple times. You're also going to get light piping, a gimmick that they do not use anymore. We've had issues with light piping on this channel, so that doesn't bug me. If we go to the side, we will find the Autobot logo tampographed on the shoulder to confirm that, once again, this is not a Nemesis just because it's a black Optimus Prime. And then I love all the detail in the midsection. You can see all the chunks that look like the folded up vehicle, very accurate to the model in the cartoon. And then all of this silver, not only in gray plastic, but paint to get all these different details across. You get the gold in there to break it up as well. It's just a beautiful piece all the way around. Take it down to the legs now, where the front of the shins are now gold, and the feet are gold as well to bring that design detail around. It's not enough gold to overwhelm the toy and just make him look like a blinged out Optimus Prime. It is just enough to highlight and pop from the black. It's a very, very balanced amount of gold, and I very much appreciate, that level of attention to the design. It's not just a simple repaint. There's some balancing here that works really, really well. So let me get to the articulation run, because this is a Prime first edition figure, so it does work pretty well. You've got a ball jointed head that's 360 degrees and will go up and down a little bit should you require it. Shoulders are universal, and this panel will fold out of the way to give you a lot more range in the shoulder. Great to always see. You have a bicep rotation just above the elbow. Elbow itself is 90 degrees. You're going to get wrist rotation as well. You do have waist rotation, but you do have to be kind of weird with it. So it's offset for the aspect of the transformation. So it's not really a waist joint because it's detented to certain spots. Like I can't just hold it in like subtle positions. And it will want to go back to its, the few points that it's supposed to stop at. So, yeah, technically no waist articulation, and even if you got it, it looks a little bit weird. It looks a little bit weird. Hips universal. Lots of range in those. Everything's free moving. You have a rotation just above the knee, and then a bend as well for 90 degrees. And then you have back and forth, as well as left and right ankle tilt. Lots of articulation. Despite the age of the figure, it's got all of the articulation you would expect out of a modern toy. The articulation rundown does reveal a few weaknesses of this particular release, and that is the fact that the tabs for the shin guards do not hold that well as the hips being a little bit looser than I would like. That might just be on mine. It might be a mileage may vary thing, so don't hold me on that. But this is a rare toy if you happen to come across it, so it's something to be aware of. This mold might have been just a little bit degraded from how many times they'd already used it at that point. At this point, we can bring in the accessories to do a little bit more demonstration. So he does have his main cannon from the cartoon. It's one of those that goes all the way over his fist to make it look like it's actually come out of his forearm, which is always a cool touch on these styles of figures. So it works, functions just like a regular accessory. But should you want it to look like it's popped out of his forearm, yeah, you can do that. That's a thing it does. But also, he does have his sword from the show, and this is where we have to get back to the soft plastic discussion. It's molded in the same shade of gold, which does look really nice, and it's painted over in a bright blue. And it does look cool. And again, it fits over the fist, so it looks like it's coming out of his forearm. But again, it is made of that really soft plastic, and this is very thin, soft plastic. You can tell mine is bent. One thing you can talk about consistent with Hasbro is the fact that their soft plastic swords are always going to be bent in their packaging, even when it's not Hasbro releasing them. Look how bent the handle is. That is my one word of advisement, and again, why I suggest do not store this guy in a tub. Do not store this in a bag where everything can get pushed around and potentially damaged. No, we have to be a little bit careful. But then again, we're talking about a pretty rare toy here. Honestly, my smokestacks would probably be really bent up if I didn't get this new in box. Yes, this is a rare toy I opened new in box because it's a toy that brings me joy, and I wanted to share a little bit of that joy with you today. So that is a rare look at the Dark Guard Optimus Prime. Fantastic redeco, fantastic Black Optimus without having to be an evil Nemesis clone or anything. I love when they do this, and they don't do it often enough, because this is the kind of color scheme that really doesn't go wrong, always looks good, and really just kind of makes for a very classy figure, especially if it is a rare exclusive. Makes you feel like you got something just a little bit more special. So that's what I have for you today. As always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.